Welcome to the 2022 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, March 15th, 2022 edition. We're halfway through the month of March and things are heating up both in inflation and as well in gas prices and the consumer price index, and everything is coming to a head this summer in 2022. So be prepared. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Preach to me for the latest and true, honest financial news as we see it here and as I see it here on this channel. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. I do read them all and I appreciate your support. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Forecasters see growing chance of a recession as Fed hikes rates this year to fight inflation. As you know, according to CNBC.com, Chairman Powell said he anticipates at least four rate hikes, somewhere between 4 to 6 rate hikes of interest rates. But guys, the inflation rate that we have going right now is at 8%. Okay. The real inflation rate is double that, as we know, at 16% or higher. So a interest rate hike of a quarter point basis, 25 basis points, which is expected tomorrow, Wednesday, that the Federal Reserve is going to widely share with us, along with Chairman Powell's comments, is not going to do anything to fight inflation. It's going to increase inflation. Now, maybe gas prices have come down a few. I saw that oil was down below $100 a barrel, whatnot. But that's just temporary reprieve, as you know, because we're going to the summer blend of oil gas soon. And also different things. We don't know how the conflict with Ukraine and other things are going to be playing out as well. Other black swan events that we have yet to get to. As you know, anything can change. But the bottom line is food prices have not come down, and food shortages and supply chain shortages have not been resolved. And so now the probability of a recession, according to the Fed survey by CNBC, is the US is at 33% and the EU is at 50%. I would say it's more like 50-50 for both US and EU, the European Union, that is. We've been in a recession, kind of a stagflation and a recession these past 2 years, pandemic years, which have been weird. Basically, nothing has been textbook. First oil prices at the beginning of this pandemic was negative. As you remember, it was negative $10 a barrel for oil. Everybody was enjoying $1.90 gas under the previous administration. Then all of a sudden, 2 years later, we're at 4.55 a national average gallon, and that brings me to another hurdle here that NPR discusses, and this is something that I was discussing with a lot of my friends and family. High gas prices present another hurdle in bringing workers back to the office. As you know, Google, Apple, Facebook, the big guys in Silicon Valley are bringing back and a lot of government employees are going back in April or end of April, as far as commuting to their job at least once or three times a week, or possibly the whole week for some of these workers here. This article highlights a software engineer at Google, and she's saying that she recently graduated. And gas prices out there in San Francisco, what, $6 a gallon now or something like that, 5.75 a gallon for regular. And she's had to fill up her compact SUV more than twice, a week, four times as much. Now she's paying for it. So how is that going to affect remote workers? How is that going to affect workers that are going to be, President Biden wants federal workers back as well, state workers, government workers, local workers. How is that going to affect people when they have to fill up more than twice a month for gas? And so it's going to be just a big mess. People are going to be not able to afford going to work, and that's why. Furthermore, who is paying for these buildings? All these downtown buildings, these lease buildings at WeWork, and all these different modified work that we have here in America. Who's paying for the leases on these empty buildings, office space buildings? Commercial leasing has been just absolutely destroyed these last 2 years. This guy here wrote that an oil crisis in Twitter, an oil crisis and ballooning gas prices really seems like the perfect reason to incentivize companies to extend working from home instead of pushing an arbitrary return to office plans this month. Obviously, it would seem that if the government wants to save money, if private industry wants to save money, like Microsoft and Google and Facebook, they would allow you to work from home. It's all through the same network. It's secure, a VPN. It's all through all that thing, and it would save money. It would save lease money. It would save commuting money. It would cut down on the pollution, the greenhouse gases that all of the Democrats and everybody been talking about. This climate change thing. So it would seem, wouldn't that seem like the smart thing to do if we really were trying to save money? But it seems that this is not the case. Everybody's out to spend money, whether they're Democratic, Republican, Independent, school districts, counties, townships, you name it. Everybody's out to spend as much money as they can before the crisis hits, and that's just such a really a bad thing to do. But this is what America has come to. Everybody's out to get the final hooray before we go into a deep, deep recession, unfortunately. So job seekers want remote opportunities with no commutes. That's pretty common sense. And this is before gas prices have gone up. Teleworking or working from home has been a thing for the last, what, I don't know, 10 years, guys, 12 years, 15 years. That has been a thing on the horizon that, more and more people have found satisfaction not returning to the office or not returning, having to go into work. They're getting more done at home, more productive both on the job and off the job. And so that's something that, and also the babysitting needs. People with kids, how is that going to do with a lot of school districts and kids having these different things too? They have to look at that too as well. So now we have the U.S. News and Jobs Report. We see that the stocks rally on Wall Street as oil prices keep falling. Here we go again. Stocks rallied. They closed on Tuesday as inflation worries ebbed and oil prices slid. But oil is just one part of this economy, ladies and gentlemen. Crude prices fell. U.S. crude fell below $97 a barrel. Okay, that's just one part of this economy. One part of the whole picture is oil prices. Okay, we still have to worry about this rising inflation. We still have rising food prices. We still have a supply chain shortage. There's places now. If you go to Costco, Sam's, Walmart, Kroger, Winco, there's places where there's still empty shelves of items, especially of the pasta, tuna, crackers, saltines, you know, um, empty clothes spots. There's empty things there because not because people are hoarding, but because they can't get the supplies. People are getting emails from Home Depot, Lowe's, and other hardware stores saying that their shower units or refrigerators or dryers or whatever they're getting is going to be another 6 to 8 week delay in addition to just hardware. I just talked to one of my neighbors. He said he spent over $2,000 on lumber for something to do. His project that he's doing, he's adding another room. And this is the kind of cost, the kind of inflation that we're still fighting here in America. And so these numbers, yes, we see a growing chance of recession. The number of rate hikes, the Fed, some people think the Fed is going to hike the rates, economists think 5 to 7 times, 48%. If they do that, that will be unprecedented. But it still won't be enough. Let's say they hike it 7 times, guys. At 25 quarter basis points, that brings us at what? I don't know, maybe 4 or 5%. Inflation's at what? 16, 17%. That's nothing unless you hike the interest rate up to 16 or 15% to match what everyone, everyday middle class families are facing out here. It does absolutely nothing. So really, it's inconsequential how many times they're gonna hike the interest rates at this point, because we're facing a 1970s Paul Volcker style inflation that's gonna rise significantly this year. As I said, it's gonna get to 10% this year, possibly higher. And it just includes everything that we have dealt with here. So this recession, while the media is painting it as just a recession based on the GDP forecast, of a 2.8% GDP growth, this has got more to do with what's going to really hurt the economy, I should say. It's not so much the record gas prices. It's going to be the lack of jobs, the lack of jobs, the lack of supplies, the lack of manufacturing and supplies. And that's why I tell everyone on this channel to continue to stock up on things, because there's a chance that we could enter an extended period of supply shortages, meaning that you're not going to be able to find the things that you typically would find, in a normal day. You might not be able to find generators. You might not be able to find water filters, things like that, things that people use on an everyday basis. Barterable items are going to be crucial. Rice, beans, extended tools like hacksaws and just little things that you use every day, adjustable wrenches, things that you don't think about, that you think they're not going to, buckets, wheelbarrows. Those things are going to be in gas canisters. Those things are going to be in very short supply in the next 2 or 3 years as we have this East versus West war between Russia, China, India, and the European Union and the U.S. Basically, and kind of a start off kind of as a Cold War, and then things are going to escalate as you see. So whether Ukraine dies down or not, Ukraine is just the proxy to the bigger picture here, meaning that there's going to be other events and other things happening because as the dollar slowly loses its influence around the world, there's going to be more skirmishes and more conflicts, and we don't produce. A matter of fact, Jen Psaki yesterday said that China only represents 15% of the world, 15% of the world economy. Okay, in her press conference yesterday, but that 15%, what she doesn't understand is that 15%, as you know, everything is made in China. Okay, so if President Biden places sanctions on China, how are we going to survive and produce everything for ourselves? We're not going to be able to do it. Okay. So we have to be mindful of that, is that it's going to take at least 15 years for the United States to bring production, whether they bring robots or actual humans to produce things. And that's how long it's going to take. And so if China decides to retaliate and put sanctions on us or whatever they're going to do with Russia, then that means that we're not going to be able to enjoy the supplies or enjoy the prices, the cheap prices at Walmart, that we or any of these places, that because everything is a lot of things, 85% of the products are made in China or a derivative of China, and so that's what's going to be happening. So continue to stock up on tangible, durable goods at this point. That's going to be worth more than gold and silver and crypto. Yes, gold, silver, and crypto are, they're great for investments and protecting your wealth. But in the short term, people in the next year or two are not going to be able to find basic items. Women know sugar, flour, oil, stuff like that. That's going to be in short supply. For us guys, we know that we need to get survivable items, whether that's, what you guys have known: solar power generators, regular generators, flashlights, headlights. You need to have survivable skills, a bunch of course, things to protect and defend what you have on your property, because crime is going up and crime will continue to go up. And even in cities where you think that's not notorious for crimes, they're going to have crimes in the Midwest, places in the Southwest, places in the Northeast, especially in the Southeast, and even in the Pacific Northwest, places where you think that all things are safe. Even safe neighborhoods are going to become jungles. So that's why it's important to get this security, get the protection that you need for you and your family. It doesn't be nothing major if you can't, afford all that, because security prices are going up on things too as well. But you still can get the basic security for you and your family. You know what I'm talking about? Patio door locks, master lock jam, door jams, a bunch of stuff, pepper sprays, a bunch of other stuff. If you're more on the lighter side of security, okay, I'm not saying armored stuff, but if you do have that, that's good. But I'm saying those things are going to become hard to get in the very near future, 1 to 2 years out, because of the supply shortage that nobody's talking about. And basically the other countries are going to place an embargo on the United States, because the United States, we're living on credit right now, and the strength of the US dollar as the world reserve currency. But eventually the other countries are going to place an embargo on the United States in terms of producing their stuff. They said, we're not going to send you medicine and all these other supplies and things, refrigerators or whatever, because we need it for our country. Remember, the rest of the world has a majority of the population. We only have 350 million people strong in the United States, thereabouts. Okay, India has 1.2 billion. China has 1.5 billion. Africa has 1 billion as a continent. So we're looking at the developing countries have more population, and they're going to keep the majority of their products. Everybody's going to go into protectionism as we go into this next depression. Every country is going to go into protecting their own resources and their supplies. And that's what's going to make this depression different from the 1929 depression, where everybody, chipped in to help each other out, help families help each other out. And so that's what's going to make this depression, global depression, a lot more felt, a lot more pain. And even President Biden admitted that we're going to feel some pain as we go through this conflict. And it's not just because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. This is a conflict of nations, because nations are all broke. They're in debt, with the United States leading the way in this depression. But we're going to be the last to feel the really painful effects of the depression in terms of joblessness, homelessness in the United States, losing the world reserve currency. That's still probably about 2 years out. 2 to 3 years out, I should say. But when it does come, you're gonna know, and everybody's standing of living is gonna drop, and that's gonna be fine because all of you guys are prepared. We'll, try to prepare the best we can, but it's just gonna be shocking to see, all of that unravel. But just continue to prepare, continue to pray, have faith, and we'll be able to make it through for our kids and our next generation, by God's grace. So thank you for listening. I know I kind of went on a little bit longer than normal, but I just want to share that important update with you. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.